All right, this is us. Today we have Walter Galvao. Galvao. See, Jamie, I'm horrible with these names, eh?
That's okay.
Yeah, I know.
I'll forgive you.
I know. You'll just correct me.
Yeah, not to worry.
So, Walter, give us a little history on how you got into real estate. I know we talked about you were in the bridal
hospitality industry.
That's right. Yeah, you were doing that. What made you jump to real estate? What needs did you see that would benefit your clientele?
It's actually an interesting story because before, as you mentioned, I was an event planner and I used to own a convention center. So 23 years in the hospitality industry, we always rely on extreme customer service by offering concierge type amenities to our clients.
Nice.
But when I was actually purchasing real estate for myself, I did feel that there was kind of an opportunity, if you will, and lack of that attention to professionalism and always being for the client whenever they needed me to be there.
Nice.
So I just said, here's a great opportunity to maybe try it out and see where it goes. And interesting enough, what happened is with the younger demographic, like the first-time buyers, a lot of the couples that were getting married then decided to actually purchase real estate with myself.
Nice.
Which was great. And then their parents saw how well it was working with their children. They then decided to also list their properties with myself as well. So it's really, I just saw a true niche for exemplary service in the real estate industry.
So your actual real estate name?
It's it's Walter Galvao, but the group is called Accelerate Realty Group.
I loved it. Can we do the logo? Like when he says that, can we actually put the logo up? So yeah, I want your logo is beautiful though.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful.
thank
So
you.
that exceptional service reflects on that name.
Correct.
Because the other day you posted. I know we just talked about it. The commercial. You're now representing KW's commercial side of real estate,
Correct.
which is awesome. You'll be their representation with another. I guess you're co-chairing with somebody,
Correct.
which is awesome. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But I did want to say. Your logo, starting from meeting with you the first time, how your services it excels,
Yes,
right?
thank
And you do take pride in that, right? And I always say you always look sharp.
Oh,
I'm like, I love how he dresses.
Well, you got to represent yourself at all times. That's my main, philosophy.
Yeah.
Our slogan is "We accelerate your real estate goals," meaning that we
Nice.
can take you from, first-time buyer to, downsizing or upsizing, and then after we also work with a lot of real estate investors.
Nice.
So we're kind of like the one-stop solution base, and then I also do commercial for the business owners.
Nice. So what do you, who do you prefer working with, buyers or sellers? This is my ultimate question. Who do you prefer? Just out of curiosity.
I don't really have a preference,
Good.
but as a realtor, they say that when you get the listings is actually when you get the leads or lead generation. But to me, I've never looked at it as such because there's a lot more work involved when you're dealing with a seller because you got to deal with their staging, you got to deal with their the showings, the open houses and whatnot. So I really, truly don't have a preference. I just look at every client as an individual and work with them right from concept to execution.
But you can see that though, like from the first time I met you, you stood out for me, right? We met at the golf tournament, but you were
Correct.
just funny. Like you were very meticulous about how you did things, right? And I'm like, I like how he's running this because you were helping with that golf tournament, but you stood out, right? And that's what's important in the real estate. Being so saturated with real estate agents, it's very important and key with your service to stand out, right? So what would you say sets you apart from your real estate associates?
There's a lot of people in our industry that they look at volume, and I've never looked at numbers or volumes or your gross commission earned in a year. I really look at the satisfaction of the actual client themselves. So before I actually even start initiating anything with a client, I do a needs analysis.
That's awesome.
Correct, and I really want to get a sense of what their wants are. We actually create a Pinterest storyboard of some of the characteristics that they would like to see in the home. And
oh my God, you do a Pinterest?
Yeah, we do a Pinterest storyboard. Yeah, because again, when I'm viewing the properties, I don't want to show my clients something that's not going to match what they want to see as an end result in their property. So it goes to that magnitude.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I have clients too that live abroad. We actually will do a live FaceTime tour of the property, and they trust me that if they're living abroad and person, I already know what they want. We can actually do a walk through a property. By the end of the walk through the property, we say if it's yes or no for that particular family.
That's okay. So this Pinterest, I've got to understand.
Sure.
So how does it look like?
So what they'll do is we'll create a story, a board for each family. So let's say it's the Galvao family. We'll use my family as an example. They'll go through Pinterest and start actually putting up images of what they want to see in their family room. If they're into shiplap, if they're into the rustic barn look.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And by that time, we know what their wants are and what their needs are. Sometimes there are people that will gut a property right from the onset. But again, we talk about their end design. So part of my background too is design. So
oh yeah, you did say this.
yeah,
that's right.
correct.
Okay.
So when I'm coming into a property, I can talk to them about their furniture placement, about future renovations, what it'll look like, and after they love the fact that by the time the walkthrough is done, that I understand what they want to do and they understand if it's within their budget. Of
That's
what they
got to
want
save you
renovate.
so much time though. Walter.
It does. It literally does.
Like because you're going through. So there's some agents that will go through 30 properties. And then they're picking and choosing, okay, they did like that kitchen, but they didn't like that bathroom. They like that flooring, but they don't like. So you're just doing that right off the onset.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So a lot of people will just do a creative search for their clients.
Of course, yeah, 3-bedroom.
Correct. So
Yeah.
it actually gets filtered to me first, and then I forward it to my clients.
That's amazing.
Because again, there's no sense in getting excited about a property that they can't afford or it's not within their parameter. So this way, every single search they get, they're qualified before it gets to them.
You know what? That's amazing. That's awesome. So here's a question that I've asked a lot of people, and we've only done a couple of since the rates have dropped. Where do you see the market? Because we were just talking about how we're now back to how many offers on one home. What dictated that? What do you think happened? Because did you think we would go back to 2016, 2017, Walter? Like, think about that.
I definitely think what happened in 2017, it was more of a hype than anything else.
Okay.
Last year and 2018 and 2019, it was correcting itself.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think what was happening in that midterm is that people were waiting, and now they're ready to get back into the market in 2020.
Yeah.
But there's a threshold. So I will always tell my clients, in my opinion, that threshold is up to $700,000. So now, what the problem is, though, is I just hope that all those people that were standing by did get pre-approved or had discussions
Sure.
with their mortgage broker, because now the other challenge becomes you're getting on average 16 offers for one property.
Is that not crazy though?
It is
Why
crazy.
are we there?
Yeah, and I just was involved in a transaction in Milton that there were 68 registered offers, and it went for 120,000 over asking.
Okay, but did you think that this was going to happen again? Honestly.
Not at this magnitude.
Okay.
Correct. I did not think that. So therefore, right from the onset, you got to get connected with a good mortgage broker.
For sure.
Get everything aligned. There should be discussions regarding your RSP.
But you should be going back, and we're going to do a segment on this. You should be going back. If you got pre-approved last year, with all the changes coming up in April, you should be going back to your broker and speaking to your broker, because rates are low now. What's next? Right? 68 offers? Like, come on.
And I also think too, though, that the longer people wait, the worse it's going to be. And I'll tell you
Right.
why. The investors. So the investors now that have invested in the financial portfolio, that basically bought a piece of paper, they're now going to rethink, maybe I should start investing in the real estate market.
That's right.
So that's going to be another, individual type buyer that's going to be competing with first-time buyers and those that are downsizing.
And they're going to risk it.
Correct.
They're going to risk it. They're not even going to care. They're not going to say, if they have the cash on hand, you're going to see this. But those 68 offers, 30 of them could be cash offers, Walter. So when you get a seller on that side, how are you figuring out what is the best offer of 68?
Yeah, well, in that particular scenario, we definitely would do an offer date. And then after, unfortunately,
Smart, yeah.
we do state we will accept preemptive offers, which some people refer them as bully offers. The challenge becomes is that your buyers just got to be ready. And it's all about communication and really being realistic with their expectations. But again, I can stress to you that unlike yourself, there are mortgage brokers that are out there or financial institutions, they're not ready for this.
No.
So for anybody that, like you said, that just got pre-qualified a year ago,
You got to redo it.
you got to redo it. And then the other question too is the ones that are actually not in limbo right now that have not signed their mortgage, now the rates just went lowered again, which you can contact them to again say,
That's
we can
right.
actually give you more budget now.
Yeah, so no, but I guess my next question to you is where do you see this market going? Like we asked people in January, we're now today, and you know, with all the information you know, where do you see the market heading?
I really feel it's going to be a long spring market.
That's
just
right.
because this coronavirus is kind of putting a dent in it.
That's right.
Initially, spring market was very short term. I think it's going to be extended just because of
That's
the
right.
coronavirus. So again, if anybody's out there, you know, on the sidelines waiting to buy, check with your professional immediately regarding your
agree.
rates, your qualifications, because
They're changing weekly, daily.
They are changing weekly, yeah. And then the
Right.
stress test also changed as well, which kind of helps that group as well.
Mm-hmm.
But documents is a big thing right now. Being prepared and having them
Agreed.
submitted, ready to go. And again, with mortgage brokers like yourself and your group, is that you're going to get them the best rate within a multitude of different companies.
That's right.
Where unlike when you're going to one of the top 5 banks, they're only going to give you their rate. We're seeing delays with them more and more these days.
100. So I would like to say I'm not mentioning any bank
Yeah.
name, but one bank in particular that has most of my approvals. I'm like, when are you dropping your rates? And they're always the last bank to drop the rates, right? So I'm like, how can you, for your existing clients, how can you give them a higher rate, right? So I'm not naming the bank, but you need to use your discretion. And I agree with you. If a broker has, 35 plus lenders, maybe talk to them, because these, like the banks now, they're taking their time to lower their rates. Right. So, and I'm going through this right now. I'm arguing with the bank saying, lower your rate. It's unfair. Like, your competitor's offering 254, but you're still at 284. This is crazy. Right. But they lag because they want to get their closings done, and they want to get, as many booked at that higher rate.
Right, but
so
then,
you're right.
But when they then review the numbers of the quarter, they wonder why they didn't do so well.
That's right.
It's because their competition was more proactive.
That's right.
So again, as a mortgage broker, that's going to be your goals to push for the best rate from all the different banks that you currently have relationships. Where again, at another financial institution, they're not going to do that. They're just going to worry about their own rate.
That's right.
And again, we find that in today's market, you got to go firm, meaning that no conditions of financing.
I can't believe we're back here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like this, I was just talking to Dee about this morning. Like, when did we get here? Again, like we've arrived, right?
Yeah.
So,
but again, as I think what's great about these podcasts and people doing their videos online, it's actually educating the public, because they didn't believe us when we were telling them. Well, now they're really getting the gist of it, stating that if there's more than one professional saying this, there's some truth to it. And now they're starting to understand, and they're getting ready. They literally are getting ready. So we're seeing people buy even before they get married now, and they're buying. Some of them are pre-construction, some of them are existing properties, and they'll rent it out in the midterm.
For sure.
Because if you wait too long, you're only going to be getting a further appreciation in the marketplace.
That's right.
So if you're able to buy before you're married, that would be an opinion that I would definitely suggest.
And you have said that to me, which is awesome. So, Walter, I want to ask you something. I know that we show our bracelets. I know I was laughing about it, but you're all about being positive in that. Like, you, even when you walk into a room, your presence is amazing. And I know we've taken this whole thing about positivity, but I know that if somebody's handling my file, I would want somebody to be positive, right? So if catastrophe hits, I would want to make sure that you are of sane mind and you're very positive to handle that situation. So I do kudos to you for always taking, the self-development, taking that serious. I know that the last time we talked, you wanted to eat healthier.
Yeah,
how's that
vegan.
going?
It's actually going well. It took a while to get used to it, being
That's right.
European background, Portuguese background.
Yeah, that's right, Portuguese.
We were accustomed to our seafood, our fish,
For
and
sure.
a lot of red meat and chicken type of thing. But when you're cutting it entirely, it's definitely challenging.
Yeah.
So basically, as you're saying, as I'm getting older, I definitely feel there's more of a need to be positive within our world and within our realm. With my children especially, because children are suffering more and more of anxiety.
Yes.
And I think as adults, we got to suppress that, and we got to look and talk about positivity, because with the news, I don't even have a cable anymore because I don't
So
want to
don't
hear.
I.
Correct. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear about the news. I also got to be realistic to keep informed, but at the same time too is try to find the positive out of everything. Yes, we have coronavirus. How is it impacting? What is the worst case scenario? But also, what is the best case scenario? So there are people taking advantage of this issue as well in the stock market, because they're calling it a bear market right now, and they're waiting because it will go further down.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then what's going to happen is people with money are going to start buying into it, right?
For sure.
So again, find the positivity and everything, but also spread the positivity. I find I'm a networker. I like to build alliances with great people with the same mindset, because the more positivity, it tries to, triples, duplicates itself,
sure.
and the energy travels.
That's what I mean. But you don't, like, somebody could express I'm positive, but it's just when you walk into a room, right? If somebody senses, like, that's when I met you, the first time I met you, you could sense, the way you were, right? And I loved it. I was like, I actually, in a room, I think I went to you and I started talking to you, right?
Yeah, but you're like me, we're extroverts.
Yeah. We're like, hey,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yes.
But I honestly, I do want to, thank you. Thank you for being that positive person, because, we talk about it here all the time. I know that if I was buying, a house, and I'm spending a lot of money, I would want somebody in my court that was positive, that, I'm sorry, this Pinterest has really got me, like, let's do like a little insert about Pinterest. But I honestly think that's awesome, because you're looking at the needs of your clients, but you're also positive, right? So if catastrophe hits, you're going to be the positive one, right? And you're going to handle that situation appropriately, right? So you're not going to be running, away from the flames. You're going to run towards the flames, being positive about it, right? That's a great analogy.
Because we've all gone through it. Like, we've gone through it as...
but it's with age, though. I have to blame... Like, I do have to agree with you on that. As we, as I had kids, and, with age and with opening the company, I honestly, not a lot of things, get me going. Like, it really doesn't upset me, right? So when catastrophe hits, we had a little bit of a situation yesterday. Edward told me this morning, he's like, you handled that amazing. But, I sat down, I went into my office, I closed the door, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Right? Like, it wasn't like I reacted to this situation. And I feel you're on that level where you're proactive on solving an issue. And I know when you're a real estate transaction is never smooth, right? Never. So you want to have somebody that's good like that. So thank you for being like that. Thank you for being awesome. I'm so glad that I met you that one day at the golf course. I thought you were awesome. I still think you're awesome, and I think you dress amazing.
But I also commend yourself. I mean, there's not a lot of people doing what you're doing at the forefront, providing valuable information to your audience and to others that are out there, whether they come to you to transact or not.
Oh, for sure,
I think that's critical. So continue, doing the great work that you're doing as well. And you're a force to be reckoned with as well in our industry, because without partners like yourselves, we couldn't do what we do. And sometimes things do happen on the financial side.
For sure.
But having someone to support you beyond the call of duty, it is an asset. So you do provide that service.
So Walter, thank you so much for coming in and being my guest. Honestly, I think you're great. If we can put his website up, Facebook, contact, everything, so people know where to reach you.
Great.
So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Carmen. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks.